first light, we had reached the edge of the desert. Ahead, a wall of trees rose from the ash, vast and foreboding. This had to be the Vailswood Dren mentioned, but nothing could have prepared me for how it dominated the landscape. Unlike the sparse, charred remains of the ash wastes, the trees here were vibrant, overrun with moss, crawling vines, and fungi that glowed faintly in the dim dawn. As we approached, I could feel the forest's breath against my skin, as if it were alive, watching, waiting. I had never encountered anything like it. The hum of the trees, the vastness of the shadow they cast over the land. The closer we came, the smaller I felt, as though I were being drawn into something divine or demonic. The air thickened with the scent of damp earth and mist, warm and heavy with life, like passing into the heart of some ancient, forgotten legend. Dren steered the cart into a narrow gap between the trees, where a winding path snaked between the low-hanging branches. As soon as we crossed into the forest, the world seemed to close in around us. The air grew humid, heavy, pressing against my skin. Even the sounds shifted, becoming low and indistinct. Above me, the leaves whispered among themselves, murmuring like voices just beyond reach, while those scattered on the ground gave way with a soft, wet rustle beneath the cart's wheels. Insects buzzed lazily in the thick air. Frogs croaked from ponds clogged in fog, their shapes ghost-like in the dark, and a lone owl perched high above, its glowing eyes fixed on us, unblinking. The forest was intoxicating. It felt as though I had slipped into a dream, a world of roots and branches. I couldn't tell if it was the heavy air or something else entirely, but with each passing moment, the line between real and unreal seemed to blur. All around us, mushrooms, some towering as tall as the trees, rose from the earth, their ancient caps mottled and gnarled. I had never seen anything like them. They loomed over the cart, their twisted forms unsettling to behold. Something about their gnarled caps reminded me of the crowmen, those ancient worshippers of Demora I'd only heard of in old stories. The thought of their blasphemous rituals, held beneath forests like this one, sent a chill through me. The mushrooms felt out of place, as though they had stood here long before anything else, watchful and patient. We pressed on, the beast pulling the cart, crushing leaves beneath its feet. Half an hour later, I spotted something up ahead, a structure, half concealed in the shadows of the trees. I squinted, my heart quickening as the shape took form. Stone walls rose from the forest floor, their architecture oddly familiar. Towers flanked a lowered portcullis, blocking our path, while banners hung limp in the still air. The sight of their emblazoned symbols sent a shiver through me. A black velvet field encircling a golden, seven-pointed star. The morning star of the Empire. I had never felt such relief at its sight, as if Noina and her Lormian offspring, the gods themselves, had finally come to my aid. Hope surged in my chest. Could it be? Was I saved? When Dren said he would take me to a place called the Forbidden Temple, I hadn't expected this. Could the temple he spoke of truly be here, among my own people? It seemed too good to be true. My pulse quickened as we approached the gate. Adjoining the towering structure was a settlement tucked beneath the trees, spreading out from the path. The houses, weathered and humble, looked far too ordinary to have been built by ash elves. The people I saw moved slowly, draped in poor, ragged clothing. But it didn't matter how shabby the settlement appeared. The sight of the familiar stone cottages, with their steeply pitched roofs and timber-framed walls, brought such relief that I couldn't help but tear up. Chimneys sent wisps of smoke curling into the air, and the lattice windows glinted in the oppressive dark of the forest. Up on a hill, a castle loomed, half concealed by branches. An Imperial aristocrat must rule here, I thought. Someone like me. Someone who could help. We reached the gate that blocked our path, and a guard emerged from one of the towers. He wore the Empire's black armor, edged in gold. But unlike the soldiers back home, this man looked worn, his face gaunt, his eyes shadowed with exhaustion. He cradled his helmet under one arm, his movements slow and weary.
"Well, who do we have here?"
He slurred, scratching his nose. His voice was low, heavy with drink, and when his bleary eyes landed on me, the stench of alcohol wafted over. How dare he be drunk on duty? If this had been one of my father's soldiers, he'd have been flogged for such an offence.
"You must be Arasith,"
he said to Dren.
"But who's the young lady?"
Dren dipped his head in greetings.
"Greetings, Videshi. Yes, that's me, I'm afraid. I have orders from the High Priestess Azura to escort this young lady to the Forbidden Temple. You know how it is. Divine summons, urgent matters, all that good stuff. So, what do you say? Will you let us pass Fort Schultz?"
"That depends,"
the guard began, but I wasn't about to sit quietly while two lousy men decided my fate. "Soldier!" I snapped, my voice sharp enough to cut. I pointed to Dren. "This elf, or whatever he is taking me against my will. I have no desire to go to any temple." The guard squinted at me, unimpressed.
"You don't exactly look like a prisoner."
"My name is Amelia Varlavenhugel. I am the daughter of Reuben Varlavenhugel of Foxenberg in Gratzreich. I order you to..."
"Reuben who?"
The guard chuckled an ugly sound. "Reuben Varlavenhugel. He sits on Emperor Romhere's council. Mark my words, if you don't do as I say..." But he ignored me, turning back to Dren.
"You got something for me, corpse elf?"
"Of course, Videshi."
Dren reached into his coat and pulled out a small jingling purse.
"Here, buy yourself a bottle. Maybe even two."
"Or 3.
The guard grinned, stuffing the purse under his armor.
All right. You may pass. Let me go open the gate."
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Soldier!" I shouted. "What beyond the veil do you think you're doing? Are you out of your mind? Don't you understand who I am? I am Amelia
"Oh, shut up, you redhead bitch!"
The guard growled, his eyes darkening.
"I've got a headache you wouldn't want to make worse. Keep quiet. I don't give a crouch's ass who you or your father are. Sit down before you make me angry."
"Ah! How dare you!" Fury exploded inside me. I leaped from the cart, and before I could stop myself, I slapped him across the face with all my strength. The sound cracked through the air, my palm stinging. I had barely registered what I had done before the guard's expression twisted into something vile. His lips curled, and his fist shot out, slamming into my stomach. The impact was brutal. I doubled over, gasping, pain radiating through me as I crumpled against the side of the cart. The air was gone from my lungs, my vision blurring. I fell to my knees, clutching my stomach, struggling to breathe. Dren was at my side in an instant, pulling me upright with rough hands. "Let me go!" I wheezed through gritted teeth, but the words were weak, strangled.
"That was pathetic,"
Dren muttered, reaching for the ropes. He moved with methodical efficiency, his face impassive.
Hold still, goddammit!
He ordered, as he began to bind my wrists again. Keep your hands off me! I kicked at him, my limbs thrashing in defiance, but he dodged the blows easily.
By all means, Messias. If you want to be free, fight for it. Maybe this time try using something sharper than your palm.
I screamed, rage searing inside me, and drove a wild kick at his head, aiming the heel of my shoe straight for his eye. But Dren was surprisingly quick, ducking low, his face cold with indifference. He grabbed me harder, his fingers digging painfully into my skin, pinning me in place as I struggled. Let go of me! I gasped, kicking wildly. But the guard came over to help. His hands clamped down on my legs like iron, holding me still as Dren worked, tying the ropes tight around my wrists. I squirmed and thrashed, casting my gaze toward the settlement, hoping someone would see. People moved about, going about their business, but no one stopped. Help! I screamed, my voice ragged, but all I got were blank stares. A soldier stationed in one of the flanking towers glanced at me, but didn't lift a finger.
Shut up!
The drunk guard barked, his grip tightening on my legs. Corrupt, drunken bastard! I spat, feeling the hot sting of tears at the edge of my eyes. When Father finds out about this, your wretched little settlement will be ash. Do you hear me? Father sits at the Emperor's table. Corrupt soldiers get hanged. But before I could finish, Dren yanked a gag from his belt and shoved it into my mouth, tying it viciously tight behind my head. The coarse fabric bit into the corners of my lips, cutting off my words. I screamed into the gag, but it only came out as a muffled noise. Pathetic. Powerless.
Thank the gods,
the guard grumbled, wiping his sweaty brow at the back of his hand. I snarled behind the gag, my chest heaving in fury.
No, thank you, Videshi. I guess it goes without saying that the Lady of the Temple appreciates your continued cooperation, as always.
Glad to hear it,
the guard said with a lazy salute.
Give our regards to the High Priestess, and good luck in Vailswood. The hunters say they've heard things out there lately, stranger than usual. Be careful.
Careful, you say? Now there's an interesting thought. If only someone had given me that advice half a century ago.
The guard slumped back towards the gate tower, and a moment later the portcullis rattled and groaned as it slowly lifted, chains creaking as the path cleared. Dren flicked the reins, and the cart lurched forward, the beast pulling us deeper into the woods. As we passed through the fort, I saw them. A group of soldiers, their uniforms like the guards, sitting on a terrace, bottles of liquor scattered between them. They watched us pass, eyes dull with disinterest. I screamed again into my gag, straining against the ropes, begging for someone to help me. One of the men raised a hand in a half-hearted wave. The others just drank, barely bothering to look. Rage boiled inside me, hot, unstoppable. I wanted to explode. I imagined it, an eruption of fire and blood, tearing through the fort, tearing through everything, bringing it all down in a storm of destruction. I'd take them all with me. But I didn't explode. The cart just kept rolling deeper into the trees, and I was left bound, gagged, and helpless. My fury trapped inside me, like a caged beast.